Hi friends, strangers, internet. My name is Emily Hanhan. I love colorful makeup and colorful language. Today I am so excited because I have Lunar Beauty Moon Spell in my hands. This palette. So this palette, ever since it was sneak peeked, ever since it was previewed on Manny's channel, I have wanted this palette, and it's my first Lunar Beauty purchase, and his reveal video was probably my first Manny video I've watched in years and years and years, at least a few years I should say. This palette, I wanted it. I wanted it from the first launch. Basically, I told myself if I was gonna get this palette, it was gonna be during the VIP sale, because I wanted to have the security blanket of knowing I could return this palette to Sephora if I was disappointed in it. And I also felt like $48 was just a little bit more than I wanted to spend. Now, this is the outside packaging. This is the palette. It looks like a book. It's weighty. It's not just the outside packaging that got me, because I can't be one of the shoppers really. The inside definitely got me too. And when it was first revealed, it looked very much like it was a very bright purple, very bright green, and very neutral, like three kind of specific color families. Then some of the follow-up photos showed that the colors were a little bit more grungy than the original video kind of made it feel out to be. And then when I got it, so I'm filming this on Thursday, I got this in the mail Tuesday late afternoon. I've only swatched it. When I opened this up, I was actually more excited because I felt like there was only three kind of boring browns in the palette. Kiki, Winifred, and Hermione. Well, Hermione's like a gold, but like three like kind of boring neutrals. This whole middle row, actually Sarah is more of like a pinky gray mauve, kind of like Bon Fresco from ABH, and then Mary is like an olive taupe shimmer, and Samantha is more of like a rose gold. So that off the bat, I'm like jumping ahead of myself, but basically instead of me viewing this palette as like purple, neutral, and green, I actually see it as a more diverse color story than the pictures were showing it to be. I knew that I wanted to buy this during the VIP sale. This actually ended up being the only thing I got during the VIP sale, but the thing that cemented it even more was when I saw the first impression look that Betty Jean BeautBean did using this palette. My plan today is kind of just to replicate that look to the best of my abilities. Obviously, I'm not BeautBean, but her look incorporated Bonnie and Marnie along with Phoebe, Mary, and I think a little bit of Prue. I love purple eyeshadow. I love green eyeshadow. I'm excited to put them together. I know I just did a kind of purple look. I know I do green looks a lot. I just love both color families, so yeah. I think I went a little bit heavier than I normally do with the eye base, but it doesn't feel too sticky or tacky, so I'm gonna go in without powdering it. I'm using one of my favorite brushes, going right in with Bonnie, which is the light green. So the color Bonnie, I love this color. I love it in the pan and I love it on my eyes, but they're not the same two colors. Either Bonnie is oxidizing a little bit as it's getting applied, or it's just one of those tricky colors that looks different in the pan than it does on the eyes. It's a fun, weird, pukey, green, yellow, brown. I'm not mad about it, but it reads more of an off color on the eye than it does in the pan. Time for Marnie. So Marnie blends out really nicely. When I apply the color like with purpose right in the crease, it definitely stuck down, but if you apply it with just a slightly lighter hand and blend it out, it definitely blends out. And then Bonnie layered back over it really nicely. I put Bonnie on again here to brighten up that green tone and blend it together, and I feel like they're working really nicely. I have a ton of colors just like Marnie in my collection. Not all of them blend the way that this one does. Sometimes they blend out to gray, or they don't mix with other colors, or any number of things, but it's a pretty good matte in the scheme of mattes. That swampy green thing is a great base to any eye look in my opinion. The other thing I did want to say is that about halfway through blending out Marnie, the darker green, I sat the palette down and switched back to my hand mirror because it's kind of a heavy palette to hold it as a mirror. Maybe I'm just a weak person, but I wanted to mention that. For that purple lid, we're going to use glitter glue as our shadow base. It also is like an instant cut crease. So for this Phoebe color, I did try a couple of different brushes. I think a flat shader brush like I use for my glitter glue or the ColourPop flat shader would work if it wasn't sticky with glitter glue. It's a little not fluffy enough to pick up the shadow, but this style of brush did pick it up well. The other color that's picking up really nice on this brush is Piper, and I'm gonna put this on the outer corner. Oh, Piper is stunning. So the tricky thing with a look like this is that purple and green are never going to blend together seamlessly. I like to do what I just did, which is I put down this color, I'm stamping it up into the green just a little bit, and just kind of letting that line, that cut crease line, where the purple kind of blends with the green and gets this slightly darker shade, just be the end of that color and just let it be. So I put Prue on the inner corner, kind of wrapping it from the top corner down and around, again using glitter glue. Prue reminds me of one of the Divina Candy Exploder shades. So if you've ever looked at those Divina shades and felt like maybe you don't reach for single eyeshadows or you weren't sure about it, Prue has a similar finish and texture to some of those shadows. It's a flaky, glittery shade that's not heavily pressed. It feels like it's the most delicate in the palette. Now I know not everybody is into putting so much glitter glue on their eyes. This is just what I do. It's how I know eyeshadow stays for me. I say that because I'm going to pick up a little bit more glitter glue and put it on the center of my lower lash line for Mary, the last color that we're putting on the eye. Mary was so pretty. I put her on the full distance of my lower lash line, put a little bit more Marnie on the outer fourth, and winged it up and into the other green shadow. I think I'm going to go do the other eye off camera and then come back and we can decide what we're doing for the waterline and for the lip color. I'll be back. So all the stuff I said about picking Waterline eyeliner and lip color with you, I already did it. If the lipstick just looks terrible and messy and the worst, just be kind. I was trying out a new Milani lipstick, and I don't know, so I think it's a little too emollient for black. In my waterline, I have Inchworm by Nicka K. This is one of those colors that like I want it to stay on me forever and ever because it's such a good bright green, but it's not the longest lasting. This liner is also only $1. So that's okay. Oh, also, so while I was working on this eye, the pink on the outer corner kind of turned into a whole wing shape, so I just matched it up. I like the original look more, but this is what happens sometimes. So the Moon Spell palette, my first impressions. Packaging is beyond what I was expecting, to be honest. The raised detailing here, the back detail and the spine, and the pages, and the spine, and the cover, all very, very nice. The mirror is quite nice. It is a heavy palette to hold. I tried to hold it when doing this eye as well, and I still felt a little bit of that strain. I am inspired to pick this palette up and play with it more. I'm not blown away by every shadow I've touched and played with today, but I'm curious enough that I want to get to know them more. I want to figure it out because I'm feeling like there's 2 or 3 different metallic formulas, and I'm trying to figure out the differences between them and what shadows kind of fall into what category for me. The mattes seem quite nice. I'm excited to play with Nancy and Sabrina and Paige, which are much brighter in tone. I'm curious to see how Nancy, the teal, kind of plays with Bonnie, this greenish, the lighter green. I'm curious to see how Sarah might play with Paige to kind of like make a mid-tone kind of purple blend out. So the color story intrigues me, definitely. Do I think I didn't have these colors already in my collection? No, I definitely have these colors in my collection. But having them in one palette together and not like a scattering of single eyeshadows kind of thing, if the formula works out for me long term, it's gonna be really nice. Besides the fact that it's gorgeous and, you know, I want to work with it, I want to use it, I am just excited to see what I can do. Like if I paired this with some more of those Divina style topper shadows, I could lighten this up even more and make it more like a sparkly, fun pastel kind of story. Or I could deepen it up with a black or more dark tones, which is not really my style, but I could if I wanted to. So my first impression are like, I'm giving this a B right now. I think it could easily veer into the A+ territory, or it could drop down depending on how my experience with it moving forward is. But compared to some other palettes I've picked up recently, one that I haven't even shown on my channel yet, whoops, I'm more interested and inspired to pick this up again. I hope you enjoyed my first impression makeup playtime situation thing. If you have this palette and you have any color combinations you would like to see me work with, like things that have stumped you or, you know, that you haven't seen yet that you'd like to see, let me know. Or if you don't have this palette and you just want to hear my thoughts more in depth about how I like this after I use it for a little longer, also let me know that in the comments. I'm not a review channel in the sense of like getting reviews up right when something launches, but if you're interested in hearing my kind of review style thoughts on like older products that have been out for a little while, let me know. I would be happy to give it a try a little bit more often. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this look, if you're excited about this palette, give me a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, I would love to have you as a new subscriber on my channel to follow along with all my colorful shenanigans. And if you have already subscribed, thank you. This is the first video I've filmed after New Makeup Nonsense went up, and that video for my channel exploded, and I have a lot more of you all watching me, so thank you. If you have requests for the kinds of videos you might like to see from me, I'm also listening. Thank you for spending a bit of your day with me. Hope to see you again real soon. Bye, friends.